considering the increase in knowledge, which you mentioned that as the demands keep coming and the desire for knowledge keeps increasing, knowledge will definitely come. We will acquire, and the demand to execute a task will make us come up with something, a way to handle that task. So all of these discoveries we have, all of these inventions, all of these things that come up in tech now with very, very intense accuracy.
Tech and science.
And okay, even considering things like carbon dating and
very precise
and all of that. Okay, all of these things, are they things that have to do with man exploring just the realm of knowledge, the realm of the mind, or is there spiritual anything in it? Is the spirit involved, or is it just man exploring? Of course, all we'll be talking about is knowledge, right? And knowledge is just the realm of the mind.
Okay.
Am I correct?
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Does with all of what your field is coming up with now, is everything purely men doing justice to their minds, making judicious use of the mind, or are they entering the spiritual to get some of those things?
I believe some are entering the spiritual to maybe have access to more knowledge, like Ikenna said, more information.
And part of that spiritual could be the forbidden part.
It could be.
Okay. Do you think, which one do you think is more intelligent, man or robot? If the mind is totally maximized, the intellect of man.
Not very long ago, just in line with your question, Joe Regan is a broadcaster also, and does something like this like already. He had Elon Musk in one of his episodes, and I won't forget one of the first statements Musk made in that conversation. As it is, humans are actually more intelligent than robots. What we'll be looking at is how well has humankind maximized his intelligence. However, just as I was pointing out previously, Musk said the percentage of non-human intelligence is actually increasing. Wow. So when I say non-human intelligence, it's not far from talking about robots and the likes.
Okay.
So the percentage of non-human intelligence is increasing. And for him, the goal is not for non-human intelligence to completely displace human intelligence, but is to come to a point where human intelligence and non-human intelligence will fuse to produce. You can imagine. You are free to create whatever imagination you want.
Okay, more like biological engineering. Am I correct?
Something, and it's way beyond that. It's see the thing about these kinds of conversation is, as far as it is not yet existing in its full dimension, we can postulate. All right. So take for instance, in the last 5 to 10 years, we have had smartphone technology advance so much, and it is safe to say that most humans are one with their phones. You get the drift, right? So humans have come to a point where they are almost one with their phone, and there is no doubt in the fact that our phones in reality are smarter than us. Okay. So if you ask me questions in this conversation, there is a limit to what I can answer. But the truth is that there is no limit to what I can answer when I Google them. You get the drift now. So in practicality, it seems as though non-human intelligence supersedes human intelligence, but as it ought to be. Okay. And so I will just slightly touch the question about spirituality and where does it come into play in the thought of man and his intelligence and all of that. So our guiding manual, our guiding principle, the Bible, tells us that we have an unction from the Holy One and we know all things. Please, all things is all things, right?
All things.
Oh, yes. So if
All things.
all things is all things,
Is all things.
it means we know all things.
Yeah.
To push this more, by God's mercies, we have had privilege to learn and to hear from people who have grown in their following God, right? And when we track some of their stories, we hear how they pressed and waited to hear from God concerning directions for life. And from their testimonies, we learn something, how that God in His wisdom hides knowledge, not from us, but for us, right? And I'll explain what I mean by that. He hides it for us so that we will search into the depths of His reserves and discover that which He has prepared for us. I think the issue with man is that we have not sufficiently given ourselves to paying the price to dig out knowledge, because knowledge is priceless. It's not always on the surface. So any man that will touch a glimmer of it, we need to really dig. So there is a great element of people working their minds to discover things. However, there is no extent to which you will work your mind that you become a prominent figure. Anybody that you see that stands tall in any place, in any field, just has to come into communion with the spiritual. Whether it's positive spiritual or negative spiritual, it's yours to call.